We're about to get into one of the most audacious, no, ingenious betting schemes in history. Seriously. It's the story of a man who pulled off a multi-million-dollar heist and never broke a single law.
So how do you even do that? How do you pull off a robbery that's, well, completely legal? We're going to dive right in, because this isn't just some story about a horse race. Nope. This is a masterclass in finding a system's weaknesses and just blowing them wide open. It's this incredible line between pure genius and, masterful deception.
All right, so picture this. We're in Bellowstown, Ireland. The date is June 26, 1975. It's a small, kind of sleepy horse track in the middle of nowhere. It's just a totally normal day, right? You've got people placing their bets, bookies are yelling out the odds, horses are getting prepped, everything looks exactly as it should. But it's not. Not at all. Because behind all that normal hustle and bustle, something absolutely incredible is happening. The real story, the real action, it's not on the racetrack. It's unfolding in the shadows. You've got one guy hiding in the bushes, and another one, get this, crying his eyes out at the only public payphone. This is all part of a plan designed to bring the entire betting world to its knees.
So, you got to be asking, who's the brain behind this whole thing? Well, let's meet our guy. A gambler named Barney Curley. And this guy, he was a legend. I mean, he was so notorious that if bookies even saw him walk onto the racetrack, they'd sometimes just shut down betting entirely. That's the kind of reputation he had.
And where did he learn his trade? Well, you could say it was a family business. His own father was a greyhound trainer who, let's just say, he wasn't above drugging his own dogs to fix a race. But here's the kicker. At just 15 years old, Barney was already playing chess while his dad was playing checkers. He outsmarted his own father by secretly drugging a different dog, a dog his dad was betting against to win his first ever bet. You can't teach that. He was just a natural. Fast forward to 1975, though, and Barney's luck had kind of run out. He'd had some failed businesses, some bad bets, and suddenly he's staring down a debt of £12,000. And believe me, that was a crushing amount of money back then. He was cornered. The bookies all knew him, so they wouldn't give him a fair shake. He needed one big, massive score to save himself.
And that's when he came up with the plan. I'm talking about a plan so meticulous, so beautifully designed, that people started calling it a legal robbery. See, Barney wasn't looking for a way to break the law. No, that's too easy. He was looking for a way to use the rules of the system against itself.
And this plan was like a 4-act play, just a masterpiece. Step 1, the horse. You find a really good horse, but you make sure its official record is just terrible. Step 2, the handicap. Because of that awful record, you get its official rating lowered so it can run in a much easier race. Step 3, and this is my favorite part, the venue. You pick a racetrack with one single critical communication flaw. And finally, step 4, the team. You put together a secret army of bettors all over the country just waiting for your signal.
Okay, so to really get this, you have to understand something called handicap racing. The whole point is to make races more exciting by leveling the playing field. The better a horse is, the more weight it has to carry. To slow it down, it's a disadvantage, right? But here's the genius part. Curly made his horse, Yellow Sam, look so bad on paper that he got no extra weight, none at all. To the bookies, he looked like a total long shot, so they gave him these huge 20-to-1 odds. But Barney, he knew he had a secret winner.
Now this next piece of the puzzle, this was everything. The absolute linchpin of the whole scheme. See, back in 1975, if a bunch of money suddenly got bet on one horse, the off-track betting shops would call the racetrack. The bookies on site would get the news and immediately slash the odds. Curly knew this. So he chose the remote Bellowstown track for one very, very simple reason. It only had one public telephone line.
All right, so all the pieces are on the board. The plan is set. Now it all comes down to race day. And the entire multi-million-dollar heist hinges on what happens in the last 25 minutes before the race even starts.
So what happens? Curly sends a trusted buddy, a guy named Benny, to that one phone booth. Benny's only job? Occupy that line, no matter what. So he gets in, dials a random number, and starts putting on the performance of a lifetime, just wailing, "My dear aunt is on her deathbed. I must speak to her." Crying, sobbing, completely blocking the only line of communication to the outside world.
So while Benny is having his fake emotional breakdown, Curly's secret army is ready to move. We're talking 300 people stationed in betting shops all across Ireland, all just waiting for the signal. And then, at the very last possible second before betting closes, bam, they all move at once, placing their bets on Yellow Sam.
Suddenly, all these betting shops are flooded with cash for this one horse.
They know something's up, so they grab the phone to warn the racetrack bookies. But what do they hear? A busy signal, because Benny's still in there crying about his aunt. The race starts, the bets are locked in at those juicy 20-to-1 odds, and the bookies at the track, they are completely clueless that a financial hurricane is about to hit them. So while Benny is giving his Oscar-worthy performance, Barney Curley is hiding in some bushes with a pair of binoculars, watching his masterpiece come to life. And there goes Yellow Sam, the horse everyone dismissed as a total loser. He just flies past the competition, wins it easily. It wasn't even close.
The race was over in just a few minutes. But the chaos? Oh, for the bookmakers, the chaos was just getting started. And just like that, the legend of Barney Curley was born.
So, the big question, what was the take? Well, from an initial investment of about £15,000, Curley and his team raked in a mind-blowing £300,000.
And just to give you a little perspective on that, in today's money, that's over $3.5 million. I mean, we're talking about a truly life-changing score. As you can imagine, the bookies were absolutely furious. They knew they'd been played. But here's the thing, they couldn't do anything about it. Curley hadn't actually broken a single law, so they were legally on the hook to pay up, which they did, in 108 giant sacks filled with cash. Barney Curley became an overnight folk hero, and you better believe the betting industry changed its regulations immediately to make sure nothing like this could ever happen again.
So, you might wonder, what's the legacy of a guy like this? Well, when he passed away in 2021, the racing world didn't call him a cheat. They called him the Robin Hood of racing. And that's because this guy who outsmarted the system, he also used a lot of his winnings for charitable causes. And that's really what the story of Yellow Sam leaves us with, right? This big question. Was Barney Curley a genius gambler, a brilliant strategist who spotted a tiny flaw nobody else saw and just had the guts to go for it? Or was he a master manipulator? You know, maybe the truth is he was both.